Nic Maeder from the band Gotthard.
Hi, my name, I guess, is Leoni tonight, and as it was yesterday, and yes,
And
I'm the guitar player of the band.
Great.
What's the name? Gotthard, yeah.
And welcome to Linea Rock. We're in Switzerland at the moment at the Gotthard, and today we had a listen to the new Gotthard record, which is called
Firebirth.
Okay. And so a new era is about to start for the band. How does it feel for you, Leo? How does it feel for Nick? I mean, Leo, is it like a new first album for you? Do you feel like that?
It's my second first album,
Yeah.
I would say, and it's a new birth. And as you can everybody imagine, we went through hell and back, and we're ready to be back, and we are back.
How did you, Nick, get in contact with Gotthard? Did you know the band before?
It was sort of a long story with a common friend that we had that sort of put us together, and then started really auditioning, just I suppose really like everybody else, and it just, you know, the process that lasted a long time.
How was the audition? I mean, entering. I mean, you just sent like an MP3 or something like that. Okay.
And initially, they had songs that they sent. Where you just put your own voice to and send back and forth and things. So
kind of a karaoke style.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was Gotthard karaoke style, you know.
All right.
But so this started. I mean, this was sort of, you know, at the start of last year, so it's been going on for quite a while. Yeah. And then sort of met the, you know, later on, a few months later, met the band and came down to Switzerland and you know, had a jam, rehearsing with the band, and it just sort of, you know, really progressed from there.
Did you first jam on classic Gotthard songs? Which ones?
Yeah, we start with Smoke on the Water.
Okay.
Then we went to
Which is Leo Leoni's song.
Nobody knows that he wrote that.
Then we went for Stairway to Heaven, and then I don't remember the third one, but I guess it was Back in Black.
Yeah, I think it might have been. Yeah.
That's the 3 songs from the classic record. That's what we did.
Okay. So, which are the songs of the Gotthard repertoire that you like the most at the moment?
I've had a soft spot for Any Time Anywhere for a long time, because probably it was the first song that I actually put my voice to and listened back to and thought, you know, it fits. It would fit the, you know, and I suppose it's that was a really big one for me. You know, that we sort of always did first when we were rehearsing, you know, to get sort of warmed up as well. So it's got a bit of a special thing for me.
How many singers did you audition? I mean, played with?
Let's say, at the end, which we worked strictly together, and so we had in contact in this audition in our practice room or here in Lugano was like, I would say like 10.
10.
Something like that. Yeah. I have to count, but it was like 10, which we thought was very important to me. That we thought, not I thought, we thought it was very important to me. And yeah.
Why Nick?
Because it was the best.
Okay.
As simple as it goes.
Did you know from the very first moment that he was the best?
Yeah, it was love at first time. No. Not. Not really. No, he actually, you know.
We actually, funny thing is, we actually spent a weekend together first before I came a bit earlier than I was supposed to rehearse.
Okay.
And so we I think
it was a lucky situation because one of the singers we were supposed to do the audition couldn't make it for some reason, and so yeah, we had a chance to meet before. We won't tell you what the name of the singer was, which is Mick Jagger, but anyway, just kidding. No, joke about side. Sorry, Mick.
Okay, and you, Nick?
We can cut this, right?
All right. You were positive since the very first time that you played with the band. I mean, you said you were thinking, yes, the job is mine, or which was your feeling?
I think I went from every state, you know, from thinking yeah to, oh, I don't think so, to, you know, it's it's up and down a lot, you know, because I mean there were moments where there were things that were really good and things that weren't as good, or that I didn't feel as confident about as well. So it really, you know, in an audition situation as well, you because I came back a lot of times. You know, I mean, I came back from Australia to Switzerland 3 times that year, last year. So it was, you know, there's a lot of ups and downs, and you know, it's sometimes you feel really confident, and sometimes you're not sure, you know. So it's
a long ride, but it was worth.
Absolutely.
Yeah, especially because imagine for him he was living in Australia at the time, and just every time we had to call him up, was like, "Are you ready to fly again?" And you know.
Yeah.
And I think it was a long process because, as you can imagine, we were looking for somebody which supposed to last for a while. And that's what we're gonna try to achieve, is like to keep on doing what we started 12 years ago. And to take a decision like this, you just want to make sure that it's the right decision.
Yeah.
And the human side is very important.
Yeah, because Gotthard has always been also a family, so
that's very important. So it's not really. Does not matter how good you can sing. Just kidding.
Who cares?
No matter.
Who cares?
But seriously, it's a very important thing to, you know, to have the same vibe and the same ideas, same musical vision and this kind of thing, which I think is, that's what the result was all about. After trying out things, the second audition, the third audition was like, okay, let's start to see how can we start working together on the new material, because to work on the old material was one thing, which the melodies have been there, and or you can sing it or not, which is a different story. But then is what's the next step? How we going to approach the next step, which is the most important thing.
Yes.
Like, this is the future. What's the past is the past. And I think at the end of the day, like, we worked out hard. Nick, we gave him kind of a hard time to, you know. But,
is it true?
A little bit.
Sometimes. It's all good, really.
Which is good, because it's creatively stimulating, right?
Of course it is.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, everybody, you know, wants to make the best out of everything. So, you know, you have to push yourself. Everybody has to push themselves as hard as possible, and they pushed me pretty hard as well, which is normal.
Which was the hardest moment for you?
You mean as part of the audition?
No, the process of the recording of the album. After, you know, with the audition you made it, then it was the next step.
I think the audition was probably harder.
Okay, really?
No, I mean, you know, going through the album, recording the album. I mean, we already knew at that stage where we were going, what we were doing. So. We'd done a lot of work during the auditions already, because it wasn't just auditioning, there was also, you know, we spent 2 weeks writing together and working already together on new material. So I think a lot of that stuff was we already knew where we, you know, and for me vocally, we already knew where we wanted the vocals to be, and I think the actual recording was probably, you know, easier than all the stuff beforehand.
Especially because the audition was a long process.
Yeah, it was a long process, and it was really under the microscope. You know, it's just every little bit under the microscope. You know, and which you sort of, you know, get used to very, very quickly as well. But I think by that stage we already worked out. We knew, you know, how we, you know, the approach. I suppose we knew already the vocal approach.
Yeah.
That we would, you know. That we would have, and Leo had a very, very clear view of how he wanted the vocals to sound as well. So,
as always.
So that stuff was really worked out before we started recording the album. Really, you know. So
great, thanks guys, and
thank you.
All the best, and good luck for everything. The record is great, so you better check it out. Gotthard rocks.